Horse racing has been steeped in controversy in recent years, but there's a push to make stricter rules for the sport. Our national investigative team looked into the nation's trainers and professionals responsible for managing racehorses and the staff they work with. They're also looking at who's to blame when there's an animal potentially in danger. Here's Lee Zurich with Betting on Change.
A spring race. In under 2 minutes, these thoroughbreds run 1 mile. Coming in second place in this race, a horse trained by Carl Broberg, a top trainer who in the last 5 years has at least 22 horse deaths tied to his name. That's the same number of deaths we found tied to another highly decorated Hall of Fame trainer, Todd Pletcher. Our investigation found these horses aren't alone. At racetracks across the country, loading into the starting gate has essentially marked the end of life for thousands of horses.
Are horses dying when they shouldn't be?
I think horses are running when they shouldn't be, and that could result in a fatal injury.
We gathered fatality records from across the country and uncovered in the past 5 years, state racing commissions have tallied more than 4,000 racehorse deaths, most the result of broken legs. Many of those horses died during or just after a race, others while training.
That number is not acceptable.
Stacy Hancock knows what it's like to breed a winner.
It's just this euphoric, unbelievable moment. And, pinch yourself moment, walk on air moment.
Her horses have won 2 Kentucky Derbies, Gato del Sol in 1982 and Sunday Silence in 1989.
And then it's addictive, so you want to do it again.
But in her decades on the front lines of the sport, she says the true addiction has been to trainers giving their horses unnecessary drugs.
Is there a drug problem in horse racing?
Yes, there's a drug problem in horse racing. Definitely.
Because the drugs can mask pain and injuries, horses may end up competing when they should be healing. And Hancock says those drugs have likely led to the large amount of deaths across the country.
And the reason that number is so high is because some of these horses have been treated with drugs that either cause them to not run faster, but to have less feeling for pain, and pain is a signal to stop.
In 5 years, we found 234 deaths in Ohio, 274 in Louisiana, 440 in Pennsylvania, and 580 deaths in California. We also found over 5 years nearly 4,500 trainers with drug sanctions, and of those, nearly a third had multiple citations in that time frame.
And it has become a race to the bottom where it's a game of who can out-cheat each other, all at the expense of the welfare of the horse.
Right now, horse racing regulations and enforcement are a mixed bag across states.
The state-by-state patchwork is a tremendous detriment to the industry and to the horses.
All of this should change. A new law signed by President Trump in 2020 will make one set of rules for drug testing and penalties. The Horse Racing Integrity and Safety Act that takes effect in July will regulate thoroughbreds, which run in the Triple Crown races, the Kentucky Derby, Preakness, and Belmont Stakes. Stacy Hancock has pushed for the new law for years. She might compare it to the stretch run of a race. The final seconds, the window is closing for the sport to make a move. She worries if it doesn't rid itself of drugs, horse racing could be finished.
And I think we can, bring our sport back to where it was during the days of Seabiscuit and Man of War, when it was the #1 spectator sport.
That was Lee Zurich reporting. Here in Oregon, we haven't seen nearly as many racehorse deaths compared to the rest of the country. State records show 21 have passed in the past 5 years. In Washington, 81 have passed. Right now, the national average of racehorse deaths from the last 5 years stands at 149.